Taking a look at what's happening at the KICC in just a moment. So let's go over to Joy. This has definitely been a conversation about systems and hardware and software and Oracle and hacking and that sort of thing. You've been following this conversation, Joy. What more can you tell us?
Yvonne, this conversation, I guess, just can't pass without us talking about the servers, that is the IEBC servers. In studio, I've got Mark Obar, who is from the Standard Digital, and we also have Hannington Mambo, who is a systems analyst at Mambo Software. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Now, of course, a lot has been said. I'm going to start with Hannington. Hannington, you know, there's been a lot of misinformation online about whether or not we even understand MS SQL and Oracle. In simple terms, can you just break it down for us? Did we misunderstand all of this? What is it that we should have gotten right? And Mark could probably tell us how Kenyans have been behaving online, the do's and don'ts and the mistakes they've made. But Hannington, break it down for us. MSQL and Oracle.
Okay. Thank you, Doreen. MS SQL Server is a database, and Oracle is also a database. Now, databases are used to store information, which includes information like the information about the voters, information about the voting process and the voting results. The question, I think, where that is coming from is when the log that was produced by the Right Honorable Raila Odinga about the hacking.
Right.
The log was showing that this was activities in an MS SQL server database. And let me just pronounce that in full so people understand. Microsoft SQL server database. Now, Chebukati, or rather the IEBC came later to say that that log is showing a different type of database that they use.
Right.
And then online, we have seen people also saying that IEBC actually is not using Microsoft SQL Server database. They are using Oracle database.
That is what they said in their statement. They said they were actually using Oracle and not the SQL database.
Actually, I've not heard them mention Oracle. I think they simply said it's a different type of database.
They actually said that in their statement. They said that they were actually using Oracle. So the question goes, which of those databases were they using to manage their systems? And from the logs that you looked at, what did they look like? MSQL?
Yeah, the logs were definitely for Microsoft SQL Server database. And if they're using Oracle database, then actually that puts the log as, invalidates the log. It's no longer a question of whether that log is showing hacking or not.
Right. And also, of course, there have been questions that have been raised about the logs themselves.
Yes.
Do they seem genuine, or do you think that some information was deducted or added into the logs that were shared on Raila Odinga's social media platforms?
The question of the log, we talked about this a few days ago, and what I mentioned is that one, there would be a few things to be proven or shown about that log for us to take it seriously or go forward with it. And the question is it, does IEBC use that type of database?
Right.
And like I mentioned, I looked at the log and there were quite a few blanks in it. Of course, everybody knows that there were attempted logins that failed, but then subsequently we saw log of activities in that database. Now, that raises quite a number of questions. Did these attempts fail and eventually they succeeded? If they succeeded, we didn't see that part of successful login in the log itself.
Right.
And also, the details provided in that log, a lot of it could be auto-generated by Microsoft SQL Server database.
All right, so we need that proof that they actually did know where they were coming from, right?
Yes.
That is from the NASA side. Yeah. Mark, let me come to you. A lot of Kenyans have been tweeting. Of course, we know that Kenyans are tech-savvy. But do you think that we've actually gotten it right online, or do you think we've been basing our information on retweets and then using that as basis to inform what we are talking about in regard to what the IEBC could be getting right or getting wrong? What has it looked like from the Standard Digital, trends?
Now, what I can say is that today the social media shapes the agenda. You know, for the longest time, the media has been driving this agenda-setting theory, which currently has been overtaken, or the media generally has been surpassed by events, or a number of activities are now in the hands of members of the public who also try to shape the entire agenda of what kind of discussions are going on. And some of these things people may not understand them, but they may make jokes around them, and people will take them seriously by the end of the day. And that also speaks of what really members of the public need to understand in terms of what are they looking for. And even in the digital platform, the media need to come out clearly, like whatever we are doing right now, to maybe just clarify some of the issues that members of the public need to understand. Because members of the public, they take issues of interest to the public and then begin to discuss it, even without understanding the intrinsic relationship between some of the factors that play around some of the key issues that they're discussing. So that is quite it's something that is going on even right now. People are talking about the logs, people are talking about everything else, but somebody may not even define what the log is. They may not even understand the Oracle 11G or the MySQL or SQL. They will not understand anything about it, but they would want to talk about it, either through jokes or just associating it with something that appeal to them emotionally. And because the digital platform today is a lot more of emotional management, and rather than the reality or the facts and truthfulness of ideas and ideals within the spectrum.
All right, so Standard Digital has had about 10,000 eyeballs per second, especially on its online platforms. What have been the most searched for items online from where you sit at Standard Digital?
Actually, you will find that most of the most searched for activities today are quite interesting, because, for example, a number of guys are talking about Cheloba, the IEBC CEO, a lot more than even the real issues around Cheloba, because people have resorted to, as I told you, digital platform today offers a lot of, it's like a conduit for emotional activities regarding a number of people's lives and the things that appeal to them and all that. So what is happening today is that people are searching so much about elections. People are talking about Cheloba and the people who are concerned so much, NASA presser, Raila presser. And I know thereafter they will be talking so seriously about the presidential declaration that is yet to come.
All right, let's now cross over to the Kenyatta International Convention Center, where our Duncan Hemba is right on standby to bring us the latest. Duncan, what can you tell us from where you're at?